Hello and welcome. It is a brand new year, and this is a brand new episode of the Mind Solution podcast. My name is Sarah Maud, and I am here today to talk about how to start 2025 with clarity, confidence, and conviction. So, people, Christmas is over. The decorations have been packed away for another year, and I'm willing to guess that most of the chocolate has been eaten. So, what now? Now, today is the day when most people return to work. So, whether that's working for themselves or working for an organization. But what I'm curious to explore is what vibe you're starting today with. Is your vibe that sense of, yes, I am ready to make this my most amazing year yet? That you're excited about 2025, that you know that there's all these possibilities that are yet to be tapped into, that you just can't wait? Or was it more of that, oh, here we go again? I often hear people talking about getting back to the grind. And whilst I understand that phrase, personally, I feel like if you're seeing your work, your profession as getting back to the grind, then something's not working. Something significant needs to change. And what I want for you is to start this year with energy in your step, with a spark in your spirit and fire in your belly. I want you to start 2025 feeling confident, inspired, excited. But in order for us to generate those feelings, we need to create the right foundation. So, in this podcast, I'm going to be sharing some of my key insights and golden nuggets, words of wisdom that can help to support you so that you can start this year with that clarity, confidence, and conviction. So, for me, my word of 2025 is intention. Every year I choose a word. And for me, the word intention, it's got power behind it. It's like I can imagine being an empress that's declaring with absolute clarity, this is the path that I'm taking. This is the action that I'm taking. It's got conviction, it's got deliberate, focused action behind it. There's no ifs, there's no buts, there's no maybes. To me, it's the energy behind what I say that I'm going to do and following through with that. And I see that intention and clarity go hand in hand. Because if we don't have the clarity, we're not necessarily sure on what our intentions should be, what we want them to be. And whenever I start to work with a one-to-one client, getting clear on clarity is something that I do spend time with because I want to get into their head and I want to know that by the time our journey together, our work together is finished, what is going to let them know that it's been a success? What's going to let them know that it's been a worthwhile investment of their time, of their energy, and of their money? And so, in the same way, I would love for you to just imagine or picture or just simply think about if you were to fast forward to the end of 2025, what would let you know that this had been your most amazing year yet? What would success look like? What would happiness, what would contentment look like? What emotion do you want to experience more of this year? What is it that you would love your dominant vibration to be? You know, we have spent so much time conditioning our body to live in contraction that when we think about the law of vibration and the feelings that we want to generate, it can be quite hard to stay in the feeling that we want to experience, especially around certain topics. So, for example, if you have got a particular topic, let's say money, if you've got a lot of thinking and limiting thinking, insecure thinking, and beliefs around the topic of money, then you've conditioned your body innocently, but you've conditioned your body to vibrate at that level to the point it becomes your most dominant vibration on that topic. And you're holding your body in contraction. And so if we think about actually what we want to experience is the opposite of that, the polarity of that, which is I want to feel wealthy, I want to feel abundant, I want to feel expansive, I want to feel like I am a money magnet, that money loves me, that money just can't help but want to hang out with me, then we need to create a different vibration. We need to teach the body a different response. So for me, when it comes to thinking about the year, it isn't just about a tick list of what do I want to achieve. For me, actually, one of the most powerful things is what is it that I want to feel? What are the feelings that I want to create? What do I want my most dominant vibration to be around? And don't worry, I'm going to show you just how you can change your dominant vibrations. So thinking about those feelings. And my invitation would be to just take out your journal or a notebook and spend some time maybe away from your usual environment so you can really get those creative juices flowing. And think about the different areas of your life. Think about your health, your career, your business, your relationships. Think about your sex life, your professional development, your family, money, well-being. And if everything in these areas of your life were exactly as you wanted them to be, how would you know? What would let you know everything in your life in all of these areas was as you wanted it to be? And as you go through this, just allowing your mind to fly above the jagged rocks of reason. Don't think about, well, that's not realistic. Allow your imagination to imagine what would it be like if you landed your dream job? What if you could achieve financial freedom? What if you met the person of your dreams? What if you and your spouse, your partner, started to communicate? What if you got the promotion? What if you were in a relationship where you were treated with kindness and respect? What if you could shed those last stubborn 10 pounds? What if you learned to put healthy boundaries in place? What if this was the year that you accepted that you are enough just as you are? What would you start doing? What would you stop doing? What if you started to prioritize self-care? You see, when you ask these kinds of questions in a curious, expansive way, you tap into the creativity of your mind. It opens you up to new ideas and solutions and possibilities and strategies that you might not otherwise have considered. So, my first invitation to experience some big energetic shifts in your vibration is to make this the year that you stop complaining. Now, complaining is something that we all do from time to time, myself included. So, this is my commitment to myself too. And whether we're complaining about the weather, we're really, really good at that in the UK, or whether it's about the cost of living, whether it's about our co-workers, our job, our boss, anything, it creeps in. But let's ask ourselves, what does complaining actually achieve? Because in my experience, it achieves sod all, but it keeps us stuck. Complaining keeps us in the ebb of life rather than in the flow. You know, life naturally, we experience ebbs and flows. We experience life through polarity. But complaining generates the kind of emotions like frustration or anger or sadness or guilt. And none of these emotions help to move us forward. They don't provide any solutions, and they keep us in a lower vibrational state. They don't enable us to show up with confidence, with conviction, with a high vibe energy. And sometimes life happens, but instead of complaining, my invitation is to ask yourself, what needs to happen to improve this situation? What's the easiest thing I can do in this situation? What's the simplest thing I can do in this situation? And what steps can I take right now to help myself? What's the next logical step to move me forward? Or what do I simply need to make peace with? You know, regularly complaining about life, about politics, about the government, about whatever, it creates a victim mindset. And that's a really disempowering place to be. And sometimes we just need to let go of things that we can't control and focus on our locus of control, what we can control. And when we do that, we're actively moving ourselves into a more empowered, creative state where we can start to experience a different vibration. We get back into the flow of life, the flow of source, of the universe. We stop blocking things. So that is golden nugget number one. Number two, the I'll be happy when trap. Now, we've all fallen into the trap of thinking, I'll be happy when. And maybe it's, I'll be happy when I get the promotion. I'll be happy when I meet the person that I really want to be with. Or I think today actually marks National Divorce Day. Maybe I'll be happy when I'm divorced. or I'll feel relaxed when things aren't so busy. Now, you can replace happy with anything. I'll feel relaxed when, I'll feel safe when, I'll be okay when. But the result is always the same, that in that moment, we are disempowering ourselves. We believe that once something happens, then we'll feel what we want to experience. But that is based on very conditional living. Because here's the truth, feelings like happiness, calm, peace, joy, those feelings are who we naturally are. That is our natural state. That's the flow state. These emotions, they're not something that we need to wait for an external condition to happen before we can experience it. But it's the emotions like frustration or impatience or anger or upset or fear, doubt, worry, insecurity that take us away from that natural state. When we're experiencing those kind of emotions, we're in the ebb instead of in the flow state. And one of the reasons that I teach EFT tapping to my clients and to employees in organizations is because it helps us work with our emotions in real time. So when we want to experience returning back to our flow state, to experiencing returning back to these natural emotions of calm, safe, grounded, EFT tapping, it gives us the tools to shift that emotional state and to align with those feelings straight away. Now, if you didn't catch it, I really encourage you to check out the interview on this podcast that I did with Dr. Peter Stapleton about the science and power of EFT tapping. Dr. Peter Stapleton is one of the world's leading experts on the science of EFT tapping. So that is a must listen to podcast. But EFT is so simple, yet so powerful. We don't need permission to feel the kind of feelings that we want to experience. But when we learn EFT tapping, which you can learn as part of the wellbeing portal on the website, themindsolution.com, or if you're an organization and you want to bring this to your employees, you can get access to our employee wellbeing portal, which has got over 20 incredible EFT tapping videos for people to tap along to, as well as a really powerful self-paced training course on EFT tapping. It is a game changer. I use EFT tapping on a daily basis, not to necessarily neutralize things that I don't want to experience, but also to use it for the power of creation. So I think about what is it that I want to create? And I just use EFT to start getting into the energy, into the vibration that is going to carry me through. And if you are a fan of the law of attraction, of Abraham Hicks, of Joe Dispenza, then you will know that everything is about vibration. And for us to manifest the kind of things that we want to experience, we have to be in that vibrational state on a consistent basis. And that is what EFT can enable you to do. So you can get some links to that in this podcast. Number 3, community and connection. I think this is such a big area. The need for real community and connection. And my question to you is, who do you have in your community that's supporting you? Who do you have in your community that's keeping you accountable? You know, you can go out there with intentions, but who's holding you accountable? You know, we can have people in our life, we can have friends in our life, but not all friendships are created equal. In fact, some friendships can be draining. We might have friends that are very negative, and spending time with them actually feels really exhausting. We might have friends that have got a victim mentality, that don't take responsibility for their own lives and spend a lot of time complaining. And you might have people in your life that are lovely, but maybe they don't really show an active interest in your life. Maybe they talk a lot about themselves, but never really ask you any fundamental questions about you. And it might be that you've got people in your life that are great to chat to about surface level things, but you don't feel safe enough to be vulnerable with them. Or maybe you've had times where you've tried to be vulnerable with them and they've just frozen. They don't know how to deal with that. They maybe don't have the level of emotional maturity to be able to handle that. But who we surround ourselves with matters. And so it is vital to have people in your corner who lift you up, who inspire you, who help you to grow. You know, for me, one of the reasons that I made a conscious decision last year to join two groups was about community. You know, running my business, I do so much work online, but I wanted a community that I was surrounding myself with high performing, driven women, women that had my back, women that took an active interest in me, women with multiple 6 and 7 figure businesses that inspired me, that challenged me, that held me accountable, and inspired me to dream even bigger. You know, I'm reminded of a conversation that I had last year with one of my very, very first clients, and I'm going back good 13, 14 years ago. A wonderful, wonderful woman called Olivia. And when we worked together, we completely turned around her life. Olivia went from being hardly able to get out of bed some days, being heavily, heavily medicated, to running 3 successful businesses of her own. And I hadn't spoken to Olivia for a really long time, but she came to mind one day and I reached out to her and we ended up having this beautiful conversation. And she said to me, God, I'd forgotten how good it is to speak to you, Sarah, and the way that you really challenge my thinking, because there's a lot of therapists out there that don't do that. And I knew exactly what Olivia meant. You know, I love it when somebody challenges my thought patterns and helps me to, you know, question why I think what I think. Because even as a therapist and a coach, I still have blind spots. And so being part of a community that challenges me is, for me, vital. So if you don't currently have that kind of community, go find it. Seek out those people that inspire you, that challenge you, and that hold you accountable. And by accountable, I don't mean your boss. I mean you and how you show up personally, the things that you say that you're going to do for you, for your personal development. Get yourself a coach, a therapist, join a group, because surrounding yourself with the right people changes everything. Next up, These are the daily practices that I'm referring to about aligning your energy. So, as I've talked about, vibration is everything. Everything is vibration. And how we experience feeling at any given moment is about vibration. All an emotion is energy in motion. And different emotions, different feelings, they vibrate at different frequencies. And so for me, what is an absolute deal breaker are the daily practices that create our vibration. The small intentional things that we do every day that feed into creating our vibration. Now, I'm not talking about exercise here, although for me, exercise is also a wonderful, wonderful way to raise our energy levels, our vibration, our endorphins. But I'm talking about the daily practices that fine tune your vibration. And for me, as I've mentioned, EFT is a game changer. And I kind of like to think of it as a tuning fork. You know, those exercises where you get two tuning forks and you bring them together and they start to vibrate at the same frequency. I think of EFT as a tuning fork for my mind and my body. And I just start every day with a bit of journaling, asking myself, what is it that I am creating today? What do I want to create? What do I want to feel? What's the energy of the identity that I want to be in and I experience today? And what I find so powerful about this is really thinking about life as a creation. Every single moment is a moment of creation. And if I want to create something, if I want to create whatever in my business, in my personal life, whatever I want to manifest, I need to get my nervous system aligned with that. And again, this is what the daily energetic practices do. And it doesn't have to be EFT for you, it might be breath work. And I'm not offering these out as a prescription, but just as an invitation to look at your life and just explore what are the daily practices do you have in place, and whether these daily practices are helping you to create the experiences you want. Maybe for you, it's journaling, maybe it's meditation, but whatever it is, the key is consistency. You know, if you've heard me talk before, you'll have heard me say that consistency, it creates momentum. And these practices, they don't have to take a lot of time, but it is about the consistency. Because from an energetic perspective, if we are doing these practices on a daily basis, I might actually do EFT on myself several times a day. It's about staying in the energy, in the vibration of that. And that's what consistency allows me to do. So my invitation is to just consider what small intentional practices can you integrate into your daily life. Because when you consistently fine tune your vibration and you align yourself with the experiences and outcomes that you want to create, 2025 will be your best year yet. Next up for me is something that I became really, really aware of on a personal level last year, and it's on the topic of self-mastery. Now, self-mastery isn't anything that's new. But it is about looking at where you are now versus where you want to be and identifying what is the gap. And often that gap is a knowledge gap. So the question then becomes, well, what do I need to do to close that gap? And so last year, I decided that I wanted to invest my money, but I knew very little about investment. I didn't know anything about funds or bonds. My financial literacy, I have to say, was not great. And I came across a book called How to Own the World by Andrew Craig. And not only did it help me to close that knowledge gap, but it allowed me to be intentional and take action and find the right investment fund for me. And I was so blown away by what I was learning that I even got Andrew onto a podcast. So you can even check out if you want to improve your financial literacy and close that knowledge gap, then check out the podcast interview that I did with Andrew. Because I think that when it comes to us being empowered, living our life with intention, we are going to have to close knowledge gaps. You know, when I left my HR career, I knew nothing about business and running a business. You know, I'd qualified as a solution focused psychotherapist and hypnotherapist, and I'd spent a lot of time learning how to work with people, but running a business, no. And that learning gap has got smaller, but I never stopped learning. You know, the whole world of online marketing, creating websites, creating newsletters, emails, even podcasts. You know, I had to do a course about how to actually do a podcast, how to set it up. But we are now in an age, a technological age, where there is no reason that we can't close these knowledge gaps. And it's not about us not being very good at things, it's just that we haven't taught ourselves a specific skill or knowledge that's going to make a difference to our life. And so, as you look at your goals for 2025, ask yourself, what do I need to learn? What are the skills or knowledge that will help you to bridge the gap between where you are and where you want to be? Because trust me, the journey of self-mastery, it is one of continual growth, but the rewards and the return on investment are well worth the effort. Next up is, how do we test for any potential mental and emotional barriers? Well, a really simple way to look and see if you have got mental and emotional barriers, limiting beliefs, is to look at your life, to look at your relationships, to look at your bank account, to look at the success of your career, of your business, even to look at your health. And if it's not where you want it to be, then that lets you know that there are potentially mental, emotional barriers. It could be that there's just a plain old knowledge gap. But from my experience of working with people for more than a decade, it usually comes down to a mindset barrier. And so, a way that we can check out whether we do have these mindset barriers is an exercise that I like to think of testing out different realities. And because the mind doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's imagined, that's actually a powerful tool that we can use to our advantage. So I want you to take a particular goal that you want to achieve in 2025. And just in the same way that you would try out an outfit in a shop to see how it looks and it feels, and to try on this goal in your mind and in your body. So whether your goal is to speak on stage, to do a TED talk, to publish a book, to get a new job, to get that promotion, just take a couple of minutes and close your eyes and just imagine, in the way that you can imagine, doing one of those, doing that goal. Try it on for size. And as you try it on for size, really tuning into how it feels in your body. And here's why this is such a powerful exercise. Because before emotions arise, there's always inner bodily sensations. So if you are imagining going for that promotion or stepping on that stage and it feels uncomfortable in your body, if it feels like there's contraction in your body, then that's a sign that your nervous system doesn't feel safe with that idea. And if your nervous system doesn't feel safe, then the chances are that you will self-sabotage when the opportunity arises. Now, if you see that your body doesn't feel safe with a particular goal, don't see this as a negative thing. In fact, I actually see it as a positive. Because if I try something on for size and it doesn't feel safe or it doesn't feel comfortable, I know that I've uncovered an opportunity to grow and to expand. And then I can either work on myself, I can use tools like EFT or havening to just release and neutralize that fear or that resistance. Or I might go and get some support. I might work with another coach, another therapist, or a mentor. But over the years, I've worked with so many people who felt stuck and frustrated because they've had these big ideas, these dreams, these desires, but they haven't made them happen. And in my experience, that tends to come down to fear, to self-sabotage, to limiting beliefs. And things like perfectionism and procrastination, they are wired into the nervous system. And so if we have got these fears, these beliefs that are creating internal resistance, when we clear those limitations, when we rewire them, when we alchemize them, well, then we're opening ourselves up to see what's truly possible. So thinking back to what it is that you want to experience, thinking about your desires, your goals, then just try them on to size and notice how your body responds. And if you do experience discomfort or resistance or contraction, not to see it as a block, but to see it as an opportunity to grow, to align your nervous system with the life that you're ready to create. And if you have been running a particular thought or behavioral pattern, let's say one of doubt or hesitation, again, that's where your brain is naturally going to default to. It's just simply how it's wired right now. And you know, when I'm working with a client who's innocently trained their brain to think in a certain way about a particular topic, I'm like, great, let's change that. You know, that's the beauty of neuroplasticity, that your brain has the capacity to change, to build new connections, to create new patterns. But in order to do that, we have to do something to rewire those patterns. Because otherwise it's a bit like saying that you want to lose weight but refuse to leave the couch. We can't expect a new outcome without taking aligned action. And the same goes for the mind. If we want to think or feel or behave differently, we have to actively train our brain. We have to create new neural pathways. Okay, and last but not least is kind of a great follow on to this. It's about the power of belief. And if you don't believe in what you can achieve, then we're going to create obstacles. It is as simple as that. Your belief system is the foundation for everything that you do. So if you don't truly believe in your ability to achieve your goals, your mind's going to create excuses. It's going to create resistance. We're going to self-sabotage, whether we realize it or not. And for me, that's like putting a block on the road before you've even started the journey. And I've had so many conversations with clients, hundreds and hundreds, who have created so many blocks that they reached the point where they said, enough, enough is enough. I want to live my life based on my rules. I want to achieve things whilst I've still got the opportunity. And when you truly believe in your ability to achieve something, well, then you create a foundation of possibility. And you start to naturally take actions that are aligned with your goals because you trust in your potential. And so, again, it's about getting really honest with yourself, really raw and real, and getting aware of what are those limiting beliefs whispering to you. What are you making things mean? You know, I literally just signed up a new client who struggles with imposter syndrome. And when they get something wrong at work, or maybe they make a mistake, they're just automatically making that mean that they don't deserve to be in this role. And if we have created these feedback loops, but we don't do anything to actively change them, then they will keep running the show. And 2025 will be the same as 2024, which was the same as 2023. So my invitation is to get really self-aware. And this isn't about judging yourself. It's not about being critical on yourself. You know, these beliefs that we've got about ourselves were created from a very young age. For me, I used to have this huge belief that I needed to be seen to be perfect. There was this whole story and dialogue around proving myself and my self-worth because I didn't feel that I was enough. I grew up with a dad that was very emotionally avoidant. So whilst he was there and he was present, I didn't experience the kind of emotional validation that I was looking for as a child. And like all children, we internalize that, we make that mean something about us. And if I'd not developed that self-awareness about what was going on, then I would have completely burnt out. But luckily, I moved into this field. I started to become aware of my beliefs. And when I saw my beliefs, everything started to make sense to me. I started to realize, that's why you used to get to work at 7 o'clock in the morning and would still be there at 7 o'clock at night. That's why you often went the extra mile. That's why you said yes to things, even if you didn't have any more capacity to take things on. You know, seeing our limiting beliefs and seeing what's going on actually starts to disempower them. And trust me, they are not personal. We just form these beliefs because we don't know any different. We're children. But these beliefs just become conditioned narratives. And that's what we're running our life based on. So if you want 2025 to be a year of clarity and confidence and conviction, then start getting aware of what you say to yourself. What do you say to yourself when the shit hits the fan? When you're in your stuff? Because the more that you will get aware of what it is that you're saying to yourself, the more that you can start to change that inner narrative, or you can work with somebody that can help you. And on that note, I have a really, really exciting offer, which is a one-time only offer, where you can have a single 2-hour strategy session with me to help you launch into 2025. Now, I don't normally work with people on a one-off basis, so this is literally a one-time offer, but it is your opportunity to gain the clarity to overcome these beliefs and to create a really powerful roadmap for success in 2025. So what we will do is we will work together online for 2 hours so that you can get the clarity of what your goals and intentions are. Sometimes we need someone asking us really powerful, thought-provoking questions for us to get the clarity of what it is that we want this year to be about. And then working together, I am a ninja at picking up people's narrative and limiting beliefs, and we will start to transform them using really powerful energy techniques and hypnosis, working with your superconscious mind to start to rewire these thought patterns and align your brain for success, and to develop a strategic action plan so that you can achieve your goals. And you will get a full recording of the session so you can keep yourself on track. But even more than that, you will get 12 months access to the wellbeing platform, which is worth £997. So when you book your session, you're getting 12 months access to this platform, which also comes with our brand new community. So you know what I said about being surrounded by like-minded people. This is your opportunity. And you can get that today for the rest of January only for £549 plus VAT where applicable. So please do not miss this opportunity. Spaces are limited, and once it is gone, it is gone. So hop onto the link below and book your 2025 strategy session now. My name is Sarah Maud. I trust that this has sown seeds of inspiration, and I wish you an absolutely mind-blowing 2025.